Hello and welcome back to Let's Go Sailing. In the last episode you would have seen me start the rebuild of Meraki, rebuilding the interior with fresh marine ply, starting with a bare hull and getting it to look like this. And now we can get on to making the floors, the seat tops, and then painting Meraki so that we can finish off the rest of the interior. So the plan with the floor is to have multiple boards that can be lifted up, so we can get access to the underside where we're going to run the sonar wires, speaker wires, socket wires, anything really, and also have a little bit of storage. We're also going to be able to, when you lift them up, possibly turn into a bed. These are just ideas, but for now we're just going to cut the boards and then we'll have a think further down the line what we really want to do with them. Just the main thing is getting the wood cut, so we know that we have boards that fit and we don't have to do it further down the line and make the boat messy trying to fit them and scuff up any paint we're going to put down. So the next stage was fitting the seat tops. Now before I got into that I thought I should paint.
One eternity later.
So I managed to get 2 or 3 layers of some 2-part paint down. This was no easy task, as think of all the surface area that's in each one of those little cubby holes, and then times that by 10, and then around the front. And then I also painted down the back and did the entire rear underside area while I was at it, and also getting down underneath the deck at the back, the little cockpit area underneath there, and painting all in there and protecting that. Was not the funnest of jobs, took absolutely ages. I used mini roller on the painting and a little brush as well to get in all the tricky areas. The mini roller, you just have to brush off the little roller before you actually use it, otherwise you get loads of little hairs. So just wipe that off quick and then that's good to use. And the finishes actually turn out pretty good because you can tip it as well with the roller if you're careful enough. Now after the paint is set, I could get cracking making the seat tops. So as you know, I kept the layout quite basic from the start, as I wanted to develop it once I had it in the water and I could test things out and try new ideas. So I had to make a decision on how I was going to have the access for the hatches, whether I had a little flap that opened up top or a little door on the side or like a little cubby hole thing that was just open. I ended up going for a little hatch on top that I'd probably hinge at the back and divide them into the sections, because I'm probably going to have my cushions or whatever seating foam arrangement I'm going to have be divided up into those sections. I could just remove and lift up the lid, access what I need to. Also, having the hinges on the rear of the hatch would add a lot of support opposed to not having them at all. Now the most difficult thing was getting the curvature right, and later on the build you see I make a little jig that's really handy for it, but didn't have that brainwave at this early stage of the build. So for most of it I just scored with the Sharpie along the edge on the hull, just to get a line drawn on that will match the curve close enough, and cut that. Quick side note, all of the work done on Meraki up to now has been done in the winter, the freezing cold winter, and I managed to get straight lines and get them all cut nice and neatly and have perfect gaps pretty much all the way around, which I think is quite impressive. Now with the seat tops fitting well, I thought I would add in the floor pieces again and get an idea of what it's going to look like, all the ergonomics of it, and then I decided to route all the edges and smooth them over with this really cheap router that I got. Worked really well and hopefully won't dig into the back of my legs. And during all this I had fiberglass the back deck area. So the next project was the step for the Companionway. Now a lot of procrastination went into this decision. Decided to go with a single step opposed to 2 steps because I found that 2 steps would interfere with you going up and down with your feet whacking it, and also whacking your shins and things like that, which I didn't want. So I thought the single one would be fine. It left enough room for you to step up and over, didn't interfere too much with anything else. So in the last episode I talked about what I wanted to do for this area, and I said I wanted to have it on hinges and have hydraulics that lifted it up. So I thought if I'm putting the toilet underneath, that would lift up, block the companionway a bit, give a bit more privacy if you go into the toilet. Also it gives me good access for underneath where I've got to run my wires, because I could do a lift away thing, but then you'd have to put that somewhere, it'd be in the way, whereas opposed if it just lifted up, it would be up out the way, you wouldn't have to do anything with it, it'd just be up. Also, if I've got it mounted on hinges and hydraulics, then there's no lifting involved, it does it for you, which is really good. I made the single step with a big lump of hardwood that I had laying about. It's going to get painted with some grip paint or something, but I thought it was quite good to work with. I could shape it into whatever I want, quite sturdy. I could put loads of screws and supports through it, because I couldn't really build it out of plywood or anything like I did on Masumi before, where I just glued together some plywood and shaped that into whatever I wanted. I had a block of wood laying around, so I used that. Now after all this, I had to finish off the paint job, and I decided to fair this as it would be a bit more visible than underneath the lockers. So I cracked on sanding, and I saved you guys the torture of watching me. Now it did get quite dusty, so I had to do quite a lot of cleanup, but it was worth it for the end result. So the paint came out really well. I used the same 2-part paint as I did before, with the mini roller, and we got all the sides, the front area, and any areas that I did miss before. I only gave it a couple coats, like on the front of the plywood running down the middle of the aisle. I gave that a couple of extra coats to get the paint to soak in, although we did resin, use resin to soak into the wood as well, so the wood should be good for years and years. Went over the top with that, but the fitment we got was really good. In some places the paint did get a little bit thick on the edges, a few runs here and there, so I had to sand them out, and also going with a piano hinge on the back to hinge up my hatches, but we'll fit them at a later date once I figure out what I'm doing. Quite difficult to find stainless steel ones, so ideally I want something that doesn't rust, so hopefully I can find something, but if not, we'll have to go with what I can find. Now this layout is a clean slate for me to add to and modify, and then also add all my gadgets and gizmos that I'll be doing down the line. So if anyone has any ideas what to do for the interior or exterior, leave it in the comments below and I will read them and reply to them. Also in the next episode we'll be doing the exterior preparation ready for paint, possibly painting as well, so stay tuned for that. And if you could like, subscribe and comment, that'd be amazing. Thanks for watching and see you next time.